This is one of the important verses from Sri Bhagavad Gita. A very important principle Lord Sri Krishna is bringing out. Yajna shishta ashinaha. Ashana means eating. Yajna shishta means eating the food which is sanctified by offering to the Lord, by doing naivedya, offering to the Lord. Muchyante sarva kilbishai muchyante. You will be relieved from sarva kilbishaha. Kilbisha means sin. And here the word used is sarva kilbisha, all types of sin. What is sin? Sin means suffering. Suffering, punishment, miseries, problems, they're called sin, sinful reaction. Sarva kilbishaha, there are so many varieties of sufferings one has to go through because of sinful activities. And Krishna is saying, if you simply take the food which is sanctified by offering to me in the process of yajna, you will be relieved from all kinds of sufferings or problem. Bhunjate tu agham papa. Those who prepare for their own enjoyment. Tu agham papa. They only eat papa. They only, it is full of sin, such kind of an acti. E pachanti atma karanat. Atma karana, for self-purpose. There are a lot of interesting points in this verse we have to very carefully understand. Here Krishna is saying that first of all, there is papa involved. There is sinful reaction involved. Many people think that eating non-veg is sinful activity because it is killing animals. And they think, if I eat vegetarian food, I have no sinful reaction. As if there is no papa in eating vegetarian food. But here Krishna is very clearly saying, even if you eat vegetarian food, still you are going to get sinful reaction for that. Why is that so? Because whether you are a meat eater or a plant eater or grain or whatever eater, you are causing harm to living entities. But you are killing animals there. You are killing birds there. And here you are killing plants. You are also causing violence. So you're not, it is not coming without causing violence. It is the result of violence. So that is why Krishna is saying there is papa involved in it. Vegetarians are also getting sinful reaction. Non-vegetarians are also getting sinful reaction. So we need not be very feeling special and proud about it. I'm a vegetarian. No. As long as the food is not sanctified, both are going to get sinful reaction. Just like in the outside world, we can see for every mistakes we do, the punishment is not the same. For example, if you skip the red signal when you're driving, you're supposed to stop your vehicle when you see red signal in any circle or something. If you go without stopping, the fine that you have to pay is comparatively less the punishment that you have to undergo for murdering somebody. Both are not same. But both are offenses. Both are offenses. But the punishment is different. It is not the same. So like that, the sinful reactions are not on the same level. There are different types of sinful activities and there are different types of sinful reaction. Srila Madhvacharya, in his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, has given elaborate explanation of how many types of sinful activities are there and what kind of reaction comes to that. And he has broadly categorized sinful reactions in 8 levels. Kshudra Papa, Papa, Kshudra Pataka, Pataka, Mahapataka, Atipataka, Sumahapataka. He has divided into 8. And the first level of offense or mistake or the sinful activity that we do is called Kshudra Papa. Kshudra. In Sanskrit, Kshudra means very small or insignificant. But it is sinful. It is Papa. It is Papa, but it is very minor. The word, I think the right word is minor. It's a minor sinful activity. So the reaction you're going to get is also minor. Just like if you break the traffic signal, you will not be put into jail for some 25 years and beaten and given a severe punishment. No. You will be fined some 300 rupees you pay fine or something like that. A minor punishment will be awarded. So, Kshudra Papa, Papa, Kshudra Pataka, Pataka, then Mahapataka, Atipataka, Sumahapataka. So all are not same. Now here Krishna is saying that the food that you prepare, because it is coming at the cost of causing violence, whether it is animal killing or plant killing, you are killing. That means violence is involved, and violence is a sinful activity. Causing violence is sinful activity. So that means there is some sin involved in it. It is not coming free of cost. It is coming with Papa. So how do we deal with this? Sometimes people ask this question also. We kill mosquitoes. Sometimes when I walk, I stamp on ants. I didn't see that, but I walked over ants. When I'm cleaning house, when I'm brooming, I may kill some small insects and all that. Right? And then sometimes you have to kill cockroaches. You have kitchen and so you have to keep the kitchen clean. So there are cockroaches, not good for health. So you kill cockroaches. Sometimes you kill rats. So is there any, is it wrong? Is there any sinful reaction for all these things? So sometimes people ask, because, I do this unknowingly, or sometimes, it happens just like that. So is there a sinful reaction to it? Shastras say, Acharyas confirm, yes, this is sinful. Killing is sinful. Killing is sinful. First we have to understand, just like you are killing plant for eating, also sinful. You are killing ants, killing mosquitoes, while washing, while cleaning, so many small living entities, they also get killed. It is all sinful. But that comes under Kshudra Papa. Srila Madhvacharya says, what is this Kshudra Papa? He says that Pipilika Vadadhani Kshudra Papo Tadanicha. In Sanskrit, Pipilika means this kind of living entities like ants, mosquitoes, small germs, and all of them. And especially Kshudra Papa means the living entities who do not have bones. Those who do not have bones and those have not yet developed highly complicated nerve systems. When you kill such kind of jivas, living entities, that is called Kshudra Papa. But it is Papa. It is sinful reaction is there. So the question is, do we get sinful? Okay, now one very important point we have to understand. First and foremost, we need to understand, is it intentional or unintentional? Secondly, we have to understand, is it avoidable or is it unavoidable? Now all of you tell me, is it the food that we have to eat 3 times a day we eat, is it avoidable or unavoidable? Can we avoid the food? Why don't you stop eating the food? Because it is sinful activity, no? We will die if we don't eat food. So it is unavoidable. So Shastras say, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. One life is dependent on another life. So it is unavoidable. Is it intentional? Unintentional. Is it avoidable? Unavoidable. So when I kill plants to prepare food, so is it unavoidable? Yes, it is unavoidable. I have to eat because I can survive by eating another living entity. Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. That is a law of the nature. But now I have to see among killings, which can be the minor killing? Kshudra Papa. Because Shastra says, if you kill living entities who have developed bones, who have nerve system, they go through severe painful experience when you cause violence. So that means that will not be now Kshudra Papa. It will be higher. The Papa will be higher. The Papa will be higher ones. So that is why the plants or ants or all those things, they come under Kshudra Papa. There are some people, they kill intentionally. It is not needed, but they just want to kill. They see some ants, they go and smash them. For no reasons, with the intention of taking happiness, taking pleasure by killing those living entities like plants or ants or any other living entities. They're not causing any harm to you, but you go searching them and you want to kill them. For such kind of papa, there is no solution. You have to suffer. For unnecessary, avoidable, intentional, and taking enjoyment out of such killing, there is no solution. There is no prayaschitta for such kind of papas. You have to go through suffering for that. But if it is unavoidable, it is necessary, there is no other option. Now, can we, killing animals, is it unavoidable? Is it unavoidable? What do you all say? When you compare the plants and animals, is it that if you don't eat meat, is it that you are going to die? Is it that we are going to die because I don't eat meat? No, I don't die. I can survive eating plant-based food. That means killing animals which are more developed compared to plants is avoidable. Is avoidable. So that means if I go and kill animals with the idea that I want to enjoy the taste, that means I am taking happiness by killing that animal. By eating that I am taking happiness. And it is avoidable and it is intentional. So for such sin, there is no remedy. We have to suffer for that. But for these sinful reactions, which is unavoidable, which are unintentional, then there will be some remedy for that. So we have to understand this. First of all, we have to understand it is not conscious, it is not intentional, it is unavoidable, then it is okay. Next, how do we get rid of this kind of a sin? Here Krishna is saying, yajna. All these things should be done as yajna. What is yajna? Yajna means, again in the same 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Yajna means performing an activity for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. That is called yajna. When you do an action for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna, for pleasure of Lord Vishnu, that is called yajna. Yajna shishta. Now here Krishna is saying that the food that you cook, it should be cooked for my pleasure. And now you can say, why don't I cook some non-veg for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna? First of all, Krishna is not taking any pleasure from our food. You are dependent on the food. So you have to take the food, and I have to take the food. And what is the food that is prescribed for me? Everybody's food is different. You cannot say, oh, tigers also should become vegetarians. That is not the prescribed food for tigers. What is the food for me is different from what is the food for someone else. So whatever the food is prescribed to me, and that food when you cook for the pleasure of Lord, according to the procedure given by the Lord, and offered to the Lord, that becomes sanctified. Not any food. Somebody may ask, oh, why don't I cook non-veg and offer? So the Lord has not prescribed the non-veg food for our consumption. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Krishna says, I accept this kind of foods. And in 17th chapter, Krishna has given sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic food. And what happens if you eat sattvic food, rajasic food, tamasic food is also explained. So if our goal of the life is moksha, then we have to take sattvic food. Sattvic food doesn't include this non-veg. First of all, killing animal is not Kshudra Papa. It's actually a higher Papa. And now it is unavoidable. You have to eat. So now you use your intelligence. Can I eat which causes minor sinful activity? And that minor sinful activity is this plant-based food. And even if it is plant-based food, if it is not offered to the Lord, if it is not sanctified through this offering process, it is still papa. Krishna is saying, agham papam. You are eating a lot of sin. So now how do we get rid of this? In the same Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, Krishna says, Yajna dana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinaha. Pavanani. What do you mean by pavana? Purification. Pavanani. You can purify yourself through yajna, dana, tapaha. So in the yajna process, cooking as per the Vedic standards, offering to the pleasure of the Lord, you can actually get rid of this. That is why in the Vedas, there is something called Panchasuna Yajna. Pancha means 5. Suna means violence. There are 5 types of violence which are unavoidable. Every day, everybody does this violence, unavoidably. The first violence is the food that we eat. Unavoidable. You can't avoid it. You have to eat food. Second thing is, when you light the fire, you are killing some living entities in the air. When you are walking, you are killing. Like this, Panchasuna. So that is why the Vedas prescribe that you have to do Panchasuna Yajna. And what are those Panchasuna Yajna? This Panchasuna means 5 imperceptible violences that we are committing. So for that also, you have to become conscious and you have to do some rectification for this. Imperceptible means you will not even come to know. You can't even perceive. It is difficult to experience it directly. What are those pancha yajnas that is recommended that we all have to do? Brahma yajna, Pitru yajna, Bhuta yajna, Brahma yajna, Pitru yajna, Bhuta yajna, Atiti yajna. So we have to do all these things. What is Brahma yajna? Brahma means in Sanskrit Vedic Shastras. Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, Itihasas like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and then Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, they are called Brahma. Brahma Yajna means reading these Shastras. Reading the Shastras is Brahma Yajna. And understanding that Shastra is Brahma Yajna. Discussing that Shastra is a Brahma Yajna. Teaching that Shastra is Brahma Yajna. Is one of the yajna we have to do to get rid of the sinful reaction. Because it is in that Shastra you will come to know what to do, what not to do, what is right thing to do, what is not right thing to do. Education is the first thing in transforming a person. Okay, there is one criminal, you put him into the jail. Simply by putting him into the jail, he is not going to change. After putting him into the jail, if you are expecting him to change, then you have to give education to that person. Education brings transformation of the heart. That is why Brahma Yajna. Our heart gets transformed when we read Shastras. That is Brahma Yajna. Pitru Yajna. Pitru Yajna means all the ancestors. Our ancestors, we have to offer some oblations to them. And when you offer oblations to them, right, unknowingly we have caused violence to so many people. No, unknowingly, we don't know. So now we have to offer oblations. How is that? It is so nice when we do Shraddha. One of the part of the Shraddha is that, see, Shraddha means offering Vishnu Prasadam to all the departed souls. Because by Vishnu Prasadam, when you take Vishnu Prasadam, it's so much of punya you get. In case if that soul is stuck and suffering, not able to move on to the next life, not able to get the next body, by taking this Vishnu Prasadam, it will be solved. So, that is why when you do Pitru Yajna, what happens? You are offering. And when you are offering, one of your offering is what? That any of those souls which are suffering in hells because of sin, because of sinful reaction. Oh my dear Lord, I am offering to you. Something I am offering. What is that? At least the tarpana we say. What do you mean by tarpana? Some palmful of water. That water already belongs to Lord. But out of bhakti, when you offer that water to the Lord is accepting. Oh, you are giving me something. For this, some punya I want to give you. And now you are saying, this punya please pass on to ancestors. And not just my ancestors. Any of those people who are suffering in hellish planets. Even they should be liberated. See how much empathy is there. It's about empathy, not for you, for those who are suffering. For them also you pray. Brahma Yajna, Pitru Yajna, then Deva Yajna. Deva Yajna means that we have to offer prayers to Devatas. That is Deva Yajna. And then comes Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna means Bhuta Hatya. As I said, there are 5 types of violence we are causing. And one of the violence is Bhuta Hatya. Killing living entities like this, ants, mosquitoes, rats, or even these plants and all those things for unavoidable purposes. For them, how do I get relief from all these things? Okay, now I have killed ants, I have killed mosquitoes. We understood that there is sinful reaction. You have to suffer for that. So how can I get out of this? By doing Bhuta Yajna. What is Bhuta Yajna? Bhuta Yajna means you have to do good to those living entities. You caused violence to living entities, now you do good to living entities. For example, feeding animals, giving some water to birds in the summer, putting some food grains to some birds or some ants and all that, feeding them, taking care of them, taking care of some animals. This is called Bhuta Yajna. Feeding some dogs. This is all called Bhuta Yajna. Right? It's very important that we have to do Bhuta Yajna. When you do Bhuta Yajna, then what happens? All that living entities that you have killed, for which you have accumulated papa, and that papa gets mitigated. It gets removed. So now you don't have to suffer for that if you do Bhuta Yajna. And the last one is Athithi Yajna. Athithi Yajna means you have to take care of the guest. Like those who unexpectedly come to your home. Especially the saints, the sages, sadhus, who are traveling, simply those who are traveling for sake of sense gratification, taking care of them doesn't give you any benefit. Those who are traveling for sake of benefiting the world, like sadhus, such people, inviting them, giving them good hospitality is called Athithi Yajna. When you do Athithi Yajna, there is so much of punya. So they are called Panchasuna Yajna. Brahma Yajna, studying scripture, teaching scripture, discussing scripture. Pitru Yajna, offering oblations to the ancestors and praying for them. Deva Yajna, and then comes Bhuta Yajna, and then Athithi Yajna. Out of this 5, Bhuta Yajna, the doing good for the living entities. And now, so first of all, we discussed, is it sinful to kill plants? Is it sinful to kill mosquitoes? And yes, it is sinful. Are we going to suffer for that? Yes, we are going to suffer for that. How am I going to get rid of this? By doing Bhuta Yajna. Next question is, can I do something good for those souls for whom I caused violence? For example, for sake of cooking, you plucked so many plants, or you killed so many plants. Can I do something good for those living entities? Because I killed them. I caused violence to them. Right? Can I do some good for them? Even for that, yes, it is possible. How do I do good for these living entities? It is said that actually you have to pray to the Lord, especially through the process of Nama Sankirtana. Yannama smarana matrena puman bhavati nirmalaha. When you remember Lord Krishna, his pastimes, think of him, remember him. Namasmarana, remembrance of Vishnu, Vishnu Namasmarana, Narayana Smarana, Krishna Smarana releases our heart from all kinds of sinful reaction. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying, that actually there is no possibility of peace and happiness unless our heart becomes clean from all such sinful reaction. And now, by thinking of Krishna, by remembering Krishna, doing Nama Sankirtana, Japa Yajna, what is happening? Our heart is becoming cleansed. Sarva kilbishai, muchyante sarva kilbishai. Second thing is, you also have to offer prayers. Oh my dear Lord, I have killed so many living entities. Unknowingly, unintentionally, unavoidably. So please bless those living entities. We have to offer. And this is called Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna means praying for other living entities. And doing Upavas on Ekadashi. Doing Upavas on Chaturmasya. Fasting in Chaturmasya. Doing Upavas, fasting on Janmashtami or other appearances days. Those days when you do Upavasa, when you do fasting, all the living entities which were killed by you, they will all get spiritual advancement because of you. This is what Shastra says. Just see, not only we are killed and not bothered about it. Oh, I ate some vegetarian item only. I ate and I am not even bothered. Our Vedas teach so much of empathy. Even though those plants are not asking you, they didn't tell you, oh, you caused so much of pain to me, you did violence to me. Even then you have to be conscious of them. That I have caused violence. I have caused pain. Unavoidably for my life. Now what should I do? I should pray for them. And that is why here Krishna says, Yagnashishtashanah santo. When you actually, the food which is cooked, when you offer to the Lord, you are actually praying to the Lord. Praying to the Lord for what? You are praying to the Lord that please accept this, purify this, and bless all the jivas which are used in cooking these living entities. And when the Lord accepts the food in that process, the food becomes pure. Food becomes sanctified. Food becomes free from papa. Not only free from papa, your heart becomes pure. You make spiritual advancement. Now, what do you mean by spiritual advancement? You actually start getting attracted to Krishna. Develop love for God. All this is possible. That is why this is very seriously followed in Vaishnava community. In Vaishnava community, we do not accept vegetarian food because it is vegetarian food. We will not accept even if it is vegetarian food if it is not sanctified. You have to pray for the living entities which you have used for cooking that food. Not just the plants. While cooking your cause, no, while washing in that some rice grain, there must have been some insects. While cutting some vegetable, there must have been some living entities. So we have caused violence. And for that violence, now you have to offer to the Lord. And when you do this, you become free from sinful reaction. Otherwise, Krishna is very clearly saying, you eat only sin. And the sin means suffering. Simply suffering. So even by eating, we are going to suffer. But you don't want to suffer, then you accept this. This is the process of taking food as per Vedas. Simply eating, even animals are also eating. But what is the speciality of a human being? That food that you are eating should be a sanctified food. Where you also become pure and that living entity also makes spiritual advancement. So this is what Yagnashishta Ashanaha Santaha Muchyante Sarva Kilbishai. You become free from all sinful reaction. And how many types of sinful reactions are there? 8. Kshudra Papa, Papa, Kshudra Pataka, Upapataka, Pataka, Atipataka, Mahapataka, Sumahapataka. And here Krishna is saying, if you eat this prasadam, you will be free from all the sinful reaction. If you don't do this, you are only eating sin and you have to suffer for that. So it is very simple. Please don't cause violence if it is avoidable. You avoidable, then don't cause it. Avoid it. It is unavoidable, then also you should sanctify it by praying for that living entity. And Lord to accept it. The once the Lord accepts it, that the plant which is used also makes spiritual advancement. So in this way, the empathetic eating, prasadam can also be called as compassionate food. Why it is called compassionate food? It is not just a vegetarian food. It is a compassionate food. Why it is called compassionate food? You are praying for the jiva which is used. Upliftment of that souls, of the all the souls which are unavoidably used. But this doesn't mean that, oh, I will kill some animal and I will eat that, I will pray for that also.
So many communities do that.
Yeah, of course, you can pray for it, but the sinful reaction will not go. You can pray for that. And in fact, in Vedic literature, even I think halal or something they pray for it. But the point is, you can pray for it. That jiva, that soul will make advancement because you prayed for it. But you cannot get freed from the reaction. Because it was avoidable. It was avoidable. It was avoidable, but you still killed it. So you have to go through the similar experience.
Is it why they say in Calcutta they offer fish because they have less bones?
No, not less bone. They're full of bones.
No, they are
Fish is full of bones.
they have not have conscious, that higher conscious, so it is offered because it's offered to as their prasadam they offer it.
Yeah. So you can offer to Kali. All the meat can only be offered to Kali, not to anybody else. But when you're offering, as I said, you have to promise to Kali that I will suffer, I'll take the same pain. But when it comes to unavoidable food, like the plant, then you don't have to go through that similar experience. If it was avoidable, number one, Kshudra Papa means what? Killing boneless living entities. Unavoidably killing boneless living entities. If you kill living entities with bones, then it is Papa. You have to suffer for it. So that is unavoidable. You have to go. If you kill ants and you don't pray for it, if you don't do Bhuta Yajna, in the next life, Shastra says, you will get lot of joints pain, you get lot of body pain, and you get lot of pain that causes so much of uncomfort experience in our body. So it is very clearly mentioned. Headache, especially migraine, headache, this is all result of killing boneless living entities and not doing any purification for that. Bhuta Yajna, you have not done Bhuta Yajna. So you have to do Bhuta Yajna. See, that means how much training is given in Vedic culture that we should not cause violence unnecessarily. Even if I cause violence, I should be sorry about it. I should be empathetic about it. And I should do some rectification for that. That is Bhuta Yajna. Okay, I unavoidably killed it. Now go and water all the plants. Go and water all the plants. That is Bhuta Yajna. Doing good to the living entities. Go and feed birds, dogs, and ants. Put some food for all the Bhuta Yajna. Why? I'm not supposed to kill all those things, but I somehow killed it. So now I will do all those things. Otherwise, we have to suffer for that.
So there are 5 categories of yajna.
Yes.
So do we have a solid one solution for all this?
That is Vishnu Smaranam. In all yajna means yajnanam japa yajñosmi. When you chant Hare Krishna mantra in Kali Yuga, that is the main aspect of any yajna. If you, without chanting the holy names of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana, no yajna is complete. You won't get any benefit of that yajna. If you simply feed water and this and that to the plants and without chanting the holy names, you won't get any benefit. It won't make it yajna. While putting water to plants, you have to chant the holy name. That makes it Bhuta Yajna.
How about offering milk-based products to the Lord? Because nowadays the dairy industry, right, so much exploitation of the animal happens. And in one sense, it can be avoidable. Of course, the plants are also exploited in the name of pesticides and all these things. We do offer milk-based products to the deities. Are we getting some sort of this in because the milk-based products can be avoided to the deities?
You see, today it is because of industrialization of the dairy. It has become a violence that is not at all acceptable. You cannot cause violence because it is a dairy product. Causing violence you cannot take. What does Vedas say? You take milk after the calf drinks the milk. Every cow produces more milk than what the calf can drink. So first you are supposed to allow the calf, and the calf will drink how much ever it wants. And after that, the cow will start kicking the calf. The mother knows how much the calf should drink. And once the mother cow knows, okay, my calf has taken enough of milk, she starts going away, kicking and all. And then remaining milk you take. And that is without any violence. Because if you don't take the milk, it is going to cause pain to the cow. The cow will go through pain if you don't remove that extra milk from the cow's body. So you have to take. By taking that milk, you are helping the cow. So that means this today's industrialized dairy business is a very, very sinful way of living life. Okay? So we cannot be encouraging that industrialized dairy business because it is causing violence. It is subjecting the cows through excruciating pain. So that is definitely sinful. But that doesn't mean that we cannot take milk. Taking milk itself is not a sinful activity. But causing violence and taking milk is sinful activity.
We come across some cases like an accident, animal killing by accident.
Yeah.
Kills animal.
Unintentional. Yeah.
So in that case,
Prayaschitta is you have to go and feed other animals. For example, you kill the dog. Go and feed all the dogs wherever possible. Okay? Especially prasadam, you have to go and feed them. Chant the holy names when you are doing it. And do japa. So you have to do bhuta daya. For bhuta hatya, bhuta daya yajna you have to do.
how long it has to be done?
Okay, that is a detail, how long. But at least this is what we had to do. Because at any cost, we should learn one thing. We have to live cooperatively. We cannot cause violence. We cannot cause violence. We cannot enjoy causing violence. For that, there is no parayaschitta. If you enjoy causing violence, then there is no remedy for it. You have to suffer for that. We are discussing about unavoidable, unintentional, and I'm not enjoying it. I'm feeling sorry. I have to do this. Unavoidable. Like some people, I've seen it. When they're killing something, they're feeling bad. Even for killing mosquitoes, they'll be feeling bad. We have to do this. But they have to do it because there is no other option. Like you may get malaria, you may get dengue if you don't do that. So you have to do it. You don't have an intention of enjoying killing those mosquitoes. I saw one person, there is some electric, what is it called? Bat or something like that. So they're enjoying that. Just it's giving pleasure. Tuck, tuck, tup, tup, tup sound is coming. How that living entity is getting burnt. And that is giving some sort of pleasure and enjoyment. For that, you have to suffer. Yes, you cannot cause any harm to another living entity. Every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. When you cause pain to that jiva, you are giving pain to Krishna. So you cannot be relieved from that.
Bro, let's say Muslims and of course Christianity, we know that they are better than the other. Muslims, they eat this.
Eat what?
Like some animals.
So is it avoidable, unavoidable? We have to see in that place, during that time, in that circumstances, if it was unavoidable, it was even Shastra says, if there is no food available and you have to save your life, you can eat meat. If it is about saving your life, you can save your life by eating food. But you have to clearly make sure that it is unavoidable. It's not that there are so many other options and it is avoidable, but for sake of taste, for pleasure, here it is mentioned. Bhujante tu agam papam pachanti atma karanat. Atma karana, for the self pleasure. When you eat that, then you have to suffer for that.
So it means that almost I feel, as per my general observation, many of them, most of them, they eat that food. So that are they not following the instruction of?
No, we don't know when that instruction was given, what was their situation in that land. Today, the problem with globalization is it is trying to, you are what is told to one people in one type of a place, we are trying to make it follow everyone everywhere. That is very difficult. For example, the weathers are different. For example, I am telling what cloth I should wear to some people in Siberia. Now tomorrow the globalization happens and somebody will read that and say everybody should wear that kind of some big cloths. And it looks very nonsense. It is irrelevant. So we need to understand when the instruction was given, to whom it was given, to which people, to which place, under what time, under what circumstances it was given, then only we should make judgment. We should not make judgment. But common sense is, if it is avoidable, don't eat. Another thing is, don't eat for your personal pleasure. If you eat for your personal pleasure because it is coming at the cost of other living entities, and you have to pay for it. That's what the Shastra is saying. Anyway, this is very clear why devotees don't eat bhoga. What do you mean by bhoga? Sinful food. Sinful food is called bhoga, unsanctified food. Prasadam means what? Sanctified food. See, how much good intention is there behind. What is the process being followed for this? And such food, when you eat, your heart becomes pure, gets filled with compassion, love, attraction for God, and you don't have to suffer. Otherwise, we suffer. We'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Nitai Gaur Premanande.